Hey y'all, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you may be seeing this. I pray that this message meets you in good spirits. I pray that you are very well and very blessed. Amen. Um, I have the shofar blowing in the background because I could not find a good worship instrumental. This is part one. The Lord told me to break this down into three parts. Looking at the notes that I took, I do not know where he's going with this or why it has to be three parts, but I'm going to follow in obedience. So, in this part one, I'm going to explain to you guys how any of this even came about. And the message is it's heavy, but understand that it is a message of grace. It is a message of mercy. It is a message of it's warning, but it's a loving warning, right? I pray that all of this is going well. So, many times when I go into prayer, the Lord will give me words, just words, and I'll look the words up and kind of piece it together like a puzzle. And as much as I don't care what anyone would have to say about the way that the Lord speaks to me, this is the way that I've been since I was a little girl. When it comes to things like when it comes to things like words, word games, word puzzles, and things like that. That's something that I've always been fascinated with. Some people like math and things like that. Some people like science, which I love science, but some people like history. And, everyone has their subject that they thrived in school. Mine was words. I loved word searches. You name it. What's the one where you put the words in the box? Um, I love word games and word puzzles and the meanings of words and etymology and the root meaning of words and all of those types of things. So, in order to keep me engaged and in order to do things that only He could do, the Lord gives me these sets of words. So I'm going to read to you the words that He gave me. And yeah, let's just do that. Perpetuate, repetition, which those two within themselves, I'm like, they kind of mean the same thing. To repeat something and to perpetuate something essentially mean the same thing, right? Wrong. Envision, Envision, identity, purpose, revelation, institution, revelation, participation. These two words back to back, revelation, participation, instigation, investigation, perpetuation. So there's that perpetuating again. Revelation, interpretation. So with revelation, we have revelation by itself, then revelation participation, and revelation interpretation. We had up here perpetuate. I don't want to throw you guys off because I can see it. You can't see it. So it just sounds like I'm just saying a bunch of words that some people would call big words. So we have instigation, investigation, starting back from there, perpetuation, revelation, interpretation, and then Marvin starving. And I'm not sure, if you guys remember, there was once a saying, starving like Marvin. And that came from somewhere also. Um, and I think that was it. Yeah, and I have the time that I was doing this at 5:52, which I looked up in Strong's Concordance, and 5:32 that looks like. So that's where we started at. And then, of course, I went and looked up the definition of these words. And this is where you would understand the difference between perpetual and repetition. Um, and to perpetuate something is to make it perpetual, to cause it to last indefinitely. To perpetuate something means it's just consistently, consistent, constant. You're making it last forever and ever. This is a song that never ends. It goes on and on, my friend. Some people started singing and not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing, and they're singing just because. That's perpetual. You're perpetually singing those same words. Repetition, to act or an instance of repeating, the fact of being repeated. So it's a there's perpetuation, like it's going on indefinitely, and then there's a repeated. So it's like the difference between like um cycle and frequency. like the frequency of doing something versus the cycle of repeating something. Like a cycle is repeated, but a frequent how frequently you do something is completely different from that cycle. I pray that this is making sense. And then envision is to picture or imagine something in your mind, especially something that hasn't happened yet or doesn't currently exist. This is where he had me intrigued. Especially something that hasn't happened yet or something that currently doesn't exist. Identity, sameness of essential character, individuality, the fact of being the same person or thing as claimed. Purpose is an object or result aimed at, like the result that you're aiming at, or the purpose that the object that you're aiming at, or the result that you're aiming at. Intention, resolution, determination. And then I have a star next to propose as an aim to oneself. So it's like a purpose. Like when someone does something, you're like, what was the purpose of that? Like you had a purpose in mind. You were aiming at something and you propose it to yourself, like this is the result that I'm going for, so this is the purpose that I'm going for. And we also know, obviously what purpose means when we ask God what is the purpose that he gave us when he put us here, right? Revelation, an act of revealing something revealed, an enlightening or astonishing disclosure. To disclose something, to give something, okay. An enlightening or astonishing disclosure. And then we have institution. I don't think I read that one. An institution is the act, and we know institution like a learning institution, right? An act of, or the act of originating, setting up, or founding, or an established practice, law, or custom, like the institution of marriage. That would be that second definition, an established practice, law, or custom. The first one, the act of originating, setting up, or founding something. And then the third definition, a society or corporation, especially of a public character. Also, the building which houses it. Revelation, participation. So we already read the definition of revelation. Participation, to take part in something, to share. Instigation and investigation. To instigate is to goad or urge forward, to provoke or incite. Investigate is to track, footprint, to study close, examination, and systematic inquiry. Perpetuation, perpetuate, perpetual, continuing forever, everlasting, occurring continually, constant, unceasing, unremitting. And then there's revelation, interpretation. Interpretation is explanation, an instance of artistic art interpretation and performance, or adaptation. And then starving like Marvin came to be extremely hungry. And I believe that this is right about where we're going to, in this, the name Marvin means a sea friend, SEA, a famous friend, or a great lord, lowercase l. There's a lot of space references, like Marvin the Martian is the one that I was familiar with. And then there was also Robot Marvin on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I'm not familiar with that second one. Um, and the name also, like one of the definitions of the name Marvin is deep emotional connection and intuitive wisdom. I heard you got a point at 552. So 552 in Strong's Concordance in Greek is inexperienced, unacquainted. You're not acquainted with something, ignorant. And then specifically in spiritual or moral matters. And in Hebrew, it is indeed, really, truly testing the reality of a claim. That comes only through disciplined engagement with God's truth. So, to receive the reality that is being presented to you, it comes only through disciplined engagement with God's truth. That means you're reading the word, you're in prayer, you're going to the secret place, you're doing the things that are necessary in order to obtain this information, in order to find this truth, in order to find out that something is indeed true, to find out that something is really true, to find out if it really is truly what it's said to be. Amen. And I have, I want to say it's 532, but it might be 537. In Greek, it's unprepared or unready. In Hebrew, it means my people. It's a certain people, a specific people, but it can be broken down also to mean my people. And I believe that that is where we're going to end this one. I pray that this message blessed you. Please hang tight because I promise you this is going to get so good and it's going to go so far. The Lord blew my mind with this one. The Lord blew my mind with this one. He has never spoken to me this way. So, amen.